3,300 years ago, a pharaoh ruled Egypt who looked nothing like any human before or since. His skull was elongated, his body feminine, his face alien. He worshipped a single god represented by a disk in the sky. Then he vanished from history, his name erased from every monument. Was Akhenaten humanity's first encounter with an extraterrestrial ruler? In 1922, archaeologists discovered something that shouldn't exist in ancient Egypt. Artwork depicting a pharaoh who looked completely inhuman. Elongated skull, feminine hips, strange facial features that resembled no other Egyptian ruler. This was Akhenaten, and his very existence challenges everything we know about ancient history. Akhenaten ruled Egypt from 1353 to 1336 BC during the 18th dynasty. But unlike every pharaoh before him, Akhenaten abandoned Egypt's traditional polytheistic religion and declared that only one god existed, Aten, represented by a solar disk. This wasn't just religious reform, it was revolution. Akhenaten closed temples, fired priests, and moved Egypt's capital to a new city called Amarna. He declared himself the sole intermediary between humanity and this new god. But here's what is really strange. Akhenaten claimed that Aten came from the sky and that he, Akhenaten, was Aten's son. Not metaphorically, literally. Ancient texts describe Aten as descending from the heavens in a bright disk, communicating directly with the pharaoh. What makes Akhenaten truly mysterious is his appearance. Every statue and relief shows the same bizarre features: an extremely elongated skull, feminine breasts and hips, a protruding belly, and spindly limbs. His face is narrow with large, almond-shaped eyes and thick lips. These aren't artistic choices. Egyptian art was highly standardized and realistic. When they depicted other pharaohs, they looked human. Akhenaten looks like something else entirely. Medical experts have tried to explain his appearance through various genetic disorders: Marfan syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, temporal lobe epilepsy. But none fully account for all his features. And here's the kicker. His wife Nefertiti and their daughters are depicted with similar elongated skulls. If this was a genetic disorder, it wouldn't affect an entire family unless they weren't entirely human. In 1887, archaeologists discovered the Amarna letters, diplomatic correspondence between Akhenaten and rulers across the ancient world. These clay tablets contain some very strange passages. Foreign kings write to Akhenaten asking about the gods who came from the sky and the bright ones who descended. They reference technology and knowledge that shouldn't have existed in the Bronze Age. One letter mentions chariots of fire that fly through the heavens and the bright disk that speaks. Another describes Akhenaten as the one who came from the stars, and he who is not of this earth. These weren't metaphors. Ancient peoples were very literal in their descriptions. They were describing something they actually witnessed. Akhenaten's introduction of monotheism is historically unprecedented. Nowhere else in the ancient world do we see such a sudden, complete religious transformation. Polytheism was universal. Every culture worshipped multiple gods. But Akhenaten's monotheism wasn't just unusual, it was sophisticated. His hymns to Aten describe concepts that wouldn't appear in human religion for centuries. The unity of all creation, the sun as the source of all life, the idea of a single, invisible God governing the universe. Some researchers believe Akhenaten's religious revolution influenced Moses and the development of Judaism. The timing works. Moses lived during or shortly after Akhenaten's reign. The similarities between Akhenaten's hymn to Aten and Psalm 104 are striking. Did an extraterrestrial being introduce monotheism to humanity through Akhenaten, setting the stage for all subsequent monotheistic religions? In 2010, DNA analysis was performed on mummies believed to be Akhenaten's family members. The results were puzzling. The genetic markers didn't match typical ancient Egyptian populations. There were anomalies that suggested non-human DNA sequences. More intriguingly, CT scans of elongated skulls found in the Amarna period show they have 25% more cranial capacity than normal human skulls. The bone structure is also different, thicker, with unusual suture patterns. These aren't the result of artificial cranial deformation, a practice known in some ancient cultures. The skulls show natural growth patterns, suggesting they belonged to beings with naturally enlarged brains. After ruling for 17 years, Akhenaten vanished. His city was abandoned, his monuments destroyed, his name chiseled off every inscription. It was as if someone wanted to erase all evidence of his existence. His successor, Tutankhamun, possibly his son, immediately restored the old religion and moved the capital back to Thebes. The priests declared that Akhenaten had been possessed by demons and that his reign was a time of chaos and darkness. But what if it wasn't demons? What if Akhenaten was recalled by whoever sent him? Ancient texts describe Aten departing in a bright light, taking Akhenaten with him. The pharaoh's body has never been found. The Akhenaten story has eerie parallels to modern UFO encounters. Beings with elongated skulls and large eyes. Advanced knowledge appearing suddenly in primitive cultures. Claims of contact with sky gods. Genetic anomalies that suggest hybridization. Some researchers believe Akhenaten was part of an ancient extraterrestrial intervention in human development. The goal: introduce advanced concepts like monotheism, prepare humanity for eventual contact, and create hybrid offspring to serve as intermediaries. The fact that his lineage includes some of history's most famous pharaohs, including Tutankhamun, suggests this genetic line was considered important by someone. If Akhenaten was extraterrestrial or hybrid, it would explain the systematic destruction of evidence. Ancient Egyptian priests weren't just restoring old religion, they were covering up humanity's first documented contact with non-human intelligence. This pattern repeats throughout history. Whenever evidence of non-human contact appears, it's quickly suppressed, destroyed, or explained away. The Akhenaten case might be our oldest example of this phenomenon. Modern Egyptologists dismiss the alien theory, attributing Akhenaten's appearance to genetic disorders and his religious revolution to political ambition. But they can't explain the sudden appearance of advanced concepts, the genetic anomalies, or the systematic erasure of evidence. Was Akhenaten an extraterrestrial ruler who introduced monotheism to humanity? The evidence is circumstantial but compelling. His inhuman appearance, advanced knowledge, genetic anomalies, and the systematic destruction of evidence all point to something extraordinary. Whether alien, hybrid, or just a very unusual human, Akhenaten changed the course of human history. His religious revolution influenced Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. His artistic style broke thousands of years of tradition. His very existence challenges our understanding of ancient capabilities. Maybe the ancient Egyptians were right to fear him. Maybe they knew something we've forgotten. Or maybe we're seeing patterns where none exist, trying to explain the unexplainable with extraterrestrial intervention. But in a universe full of possibilities, is it really so impossible that 3,300 years ago, a being from another world ruled Egypt for 17 years, introduced humanity to monotheism, and then vanished back to the stars? The truth might be buried in the sands of Amarna, waiting for someone brave enough to dig it up. Thanks for watching this exploration of ancient Egypt's most mysterious pharaoh. Whether human or alien, Akhenaten's story reminds us that history is full of unexplained mysteries. Hit that like button if this made you think, and subscribe for more investigations into the unknown.